Hello, everyone, and welcome to this bonus episode, 0.5 of Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. So it's yours truly, Marco, and Julia, the best co-hosts in Podcastlandia. And we are taking some time after the main body of the episode with our guest, Jim from Fretboard.
Hey.
We decided we didn't go down enough rabbit holes and didn't have enough fun during the main episode. We needed to keep this train barreling down towards the broken bridge to just careen into God knows what kind of fun.
Spence Brent?
Let's go.
Yes,
Bridge?
the Spence
Let's go.
Brent. So, Jim, besides...
Spence Brent.
Yeah, that's the Twitter account.
I love it.
Spence Brent. It is the funniest local Twitter parody account. It's all about the Brent Spence Bridge.
The Spence Brent.
It's
Is it?
amazing.
So I need to
It's
follow it.
amazing.
Is
Oh,
what you're
absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know it
Absolutely.
existed. Yeah. Cheers to that.
Hashtag not sponsored by the Brent Spence Bridge.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing Twitter account. Besides beer, you do music.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want to hear more about the music because
All right,
that's
so-
something that we didn't touch on nearly enough in the main episode.
Jim Klosterman, Fretboard Brewing Company. One
I
of
guess,
the
I guess that's important.
whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
You're a founder.
co-founder. Yeah.
I have your name on the bottom of a stein that Marco got for me for Christmas.
Yep,
I signed it.
last year.
Did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
what
I
was
have,
funny?
I have the same thing.
And what was funny is Marco
bought one
gave it to
too.
me, and I'm like, "Holy crap! This is amazing! This is awesome!" I'm looking, and Marco's like,
It's worth 2 cents.
he's like, just because it has the Fretboard logo on the front of it.
Yeah.
And Mark is like, well, that's
I think I
that's,
paid
that's
$50
from
a
Fretboard,
piece
and
for
I'm
them.
like,
I don't know.
and I'm like, yeah, I know.
But-
And he was like, oh, okay, I wasn't sure if you knew. It was. I'm like,
It doesn't matter. It was a gift. It's
it was
a Christmas
awesome.
gift.
It was awesome.
Awesome.
But yes, I knew where it was from immediately, and super cool. But anyway,
So
yes,
this
yes,
portion is the bonus episode, right?
Oh
Yes.
God, yes.
So we just finished up a normal episode.
Which is going to be one of the longest episodes I think that we've ever had.
That's okay.
Which
That's
is
great.
amazing. It's great.
fine.
Yes.
I want to make this like super high energy. So if it's about me,
Hell yeah.
it's going to be really hyper.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Like not crazy hyper,
But just really hype.
not Debbie Downer.
Okay.
No.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Like
can be
hyper.
high energy.
Like it's gonna be high energy.
Like
You can
lead
do all the
guitarist hyper.
curses. You
So,
can cock balls. Shit.
no,
whatever
I-
you need.
Whoa.
What?
Hey,
What you doing
I
there?
love balls.
whatever you need.
I'm gonna die.
I'm just saying.
It's good times. I
just
mean,
hit it. Whatever,
I know. Let's go.
Dude, you guys are gonna kill me, and Mark is gonna have to figure out how to edit these episodes, and he's
So I want to
gonna pass away.
You don't edit
Jim
that
can
out.
figure that.
That's it. Don't
No,
edit
no,
that.
no.
Jim can help me
So,
figure that one out.
I went to the doctor today.
Here we go. Oh my
And,
God! Here we go.
It's not a joke, actually. It could be. She was a magic. Joy's gonna spit her beer all over the freaking. Are you okay?
I'm
Oh my god!
okay. Oh my God! Mark is holding the laminated show sheet over the soundboard to
So- This is a result of
So you
several
went to the
beers.
doctor. Okay.
No, that's-
Okay.
This is fucking for real. So I go to the freaking doctor, and I had breakfast at McDonald's on the day you got to go to the doctor. I drank a shit ton of wine last night and watched Stranger Things, by the way. And we watched Yellowstone straight. And then my wife's like,
You're not done watching?
She's like, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, I'm watching Stranger Things because I can't go to bed yet. So I'm drinking wine. And I'm like,
White, red? What
red. Well, I always do red. Yeah. My wife,
bubbly, not
Malbec,
bubbly.
Merlot.
I love Malbec, but my wife loves red blend, so we buy like the box, Boda box wine.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's freaking
Shout
great.
out to Boda Box.
No, it's awesome.
Sponsor the pod.
I love boxes.
Yes.
By the way,
Oh my God!
Marcus looking at me confused, like
No,
I
I
don't
have
know
one.
what is he talking about?
I've got a
I mean,
Boda Box.
who doesn't love a good box?
I love
Yeah.
a good box. So, anyways,
You know, just-
so drank a bunch of wine last night. Woke up today. I already talked to you about my home improvement problem.
Yeah. The home improvement problem.
That was at 8 in the morning.
Anyway,
Went to McDonald's and then had sausage egg McMuffin because that's what you do on the day you go to the doctor. Didn't eat lunch. Sat in a meeting all day. Drank way too much caffeine. Which, by the way, when I drink like half calf now because I get all like fucking nervous and I'm like,
we can tell.
and I'm like, like geeking out. So I got a coffee at McDonald's on top of my half calf. Drank a full bottle of Diet Coke at
oh my
lunch.
God!
This is literally, I go to the doctor at 2 o'clock. wait a fucking half hour, which doctors don't care.
No.
I love my
No,
doctor,
they don't.
but
And they don't have beer. Like,
they don't have beer. I'm literally, I was laying down on the bed,
Backwards.
the exam chair. And I'm like,
Okay, wait a second.
I'm, like,
what
laying
kind of
down
doctor's
because-
appointment are you about to tell us about? Because I don't know.
It's my
He
family
went to his OB/GYN.
it's my family practice doctor. She comes in and anyways, she takes my blood pressure, and this is what I only wanted to tell you about. My blood pressure was 140 over something. It's supposed to be 120, and I go, she's like, yeah, it's a little high.
And you're like,
And I was like, I had caffeine. Yeah, I want to go fucking run around somewhere. It's like cocaine, Like I was like, yeah, let's go.
oh my God, I'm going to die.
So
Can't sit here any longer.
that's how my day
I
started.
need to go.
I met one of our design guys, one of our original design people that helped us with our brand. I met Jay from Maker Creative. Anyways, Jay joins me at 3, so then I had 2 mellowships and came here. So
it's been a good day.
I'm ready to go.
You're ready.
I'm actually still ready to run around.
Are you to sleep tonight?
I'm not really sure. My wife's gonna kill me because I'll be like, I'll come home and I'll be like, "What's going on, honey? Hey, what's happening?"
I don't know if I'm drunk or if I'm just so caffeined up still that I'm just...
Caffeine
Oh,
lasts
God.
a long time in your system, which is
It
why
does.
I don't drink a lot of it anymore.
It does.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like they say...
Yeah, it's a good tip.
Try not to drink, just a tip.
Yeah.
And they say try not to
They know.
have any caffeine after like noon, even if you don't go to bed until like
Right.
10, 11, because it's
Except for
still
anybody
going.
after 30 or what?
So typically, I love Diet Coke, and I don't know why, but I love because it makes you
See-
burp. It's like beer, like anything. It's super hypercarbonated. So
It fills you
So
up.
when you go, afternoon, like you're talking, I do not drink caffeine unless iced
Diet
tea or Diet Coke, and it's usually a can, not a 20-ounce bottle. I was so hyped up. I was ready
Oh
to
my
run
God.
laps today. Yeah,
That's
I'm ready to
great.
go. Yeah,
Yeah?
All
this
right.
This is the high
right.
energy.
They said you're
episode.
good.
This is great.
They said
So,
you're good. You should get out of here. You got a meeting, and then doctor was like, "Yeah, just go."
Just like,
I'm,
hey, you
I'm
know
having trouble containing right now.
this explains
'cause Marco's
so
so
much
hot.
about the main. I mean,
Failure,
I'm telling you,
failure to contain.
telling you.
Let's go.
Oh, good God. So it. I'm not cutting any of this out of
If
the
this
bonus.
is
I mean,
if this
is
episode's about me,
we're
you're
just
gonna get
going-
all me, baby.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get naked before the end and strip down and go
We've done
run,
that before.
running,
Yeah,
and run in
and-
blue
You're in higher
ash.
gravity.
Yeah, and we were pretty much told, just don't let it happen again.
I'm not doing that.
And you can still
that would
come
just
back.
be dumb.
but
Welcome back to
it's-
higher gravity. We are naked.
Oh my God, the Naked Podcast Hour at Higher Gravity.
That's right.
Jason would be like,
It's great with like the children's
banned for life.
playground right across this. Like literally, we are looking at it right now.
Right, looking at children.
This is terrible.
It's
This is-
terrible.
It's so bad. Music.
Yes.
Music. Music plays a big role in both your personal life and Fretboard. Do you guys still brew beer at? And I don't remember the frequency offhand, but there was like a specific frequency when you guys opened.
I gotta calm
that
down.
You said you had,
Listen,
I'm trying to ask questions to try
calm
and
down.
like even out some of the
okay, you're
some of
asking
the
about
hyperactivity.
frequency of brewing.
When
frequency.
Fretboard opened, one of the key
He's a founder.
factors of the beer
Oh, okay.
was that it was made or it was held in tanks, and it's been a long time since I've seen anything on this, so I could be getting some of it wrong. But it was in tanks or it was brewed or something at a certain frequency that the owners or
like
founders
brewed, like
felt
it's
might help the beer be better. I'm saying that completely wrong.
So
Like, there was
that's
something
that's all
musically-
kind of Well, it's actually cool marketing speak.
Yeah.
So
but do you guys still
and I
do
can't.
that? Do you still try to keep?
No.
Okay.
So the answer is it's never existed.
All right.
Oh my God! My entire vision of Fretboard has just been completely
No,
shattered.
I'm not trying. No, right. I think it's. I think
Well, now I don't like your beer anymore.
shit. Going home.
It was all. Do we still get the drummer boy? That's the important thing.
The photo shoot with the
Do the photo shoot
drummer
with the.
boy in the mellowship. I mean,
Oh my God.
So when we started the brewery, we knew, at least the co-founders, we'd have to meet with somebody way more intelligent than us about marketing, right? So we hired a friend of ours who owned a marketing firm, and she also had outreach to other people, designers and other things that help and get us our shit together, basically. And so there is some, I'll have to look it up. There's some really cool lines or marketing like words. They call it copy in the land of marketing, about, every batch is in tune to the right blah, 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 and stuff. And it's actually really cool stuff that I should probably be using. Here at Fretboard, we brew every batch to the right frequency and this and that. And that's actually what that comes from.
Okay.
So,
The
we
Brews and
didn't.
Tune thing.
Brews and Tune was a hashtag that came out of that, which I love. I still use.
think that's
I still
phenomenal,
use
yeah.
Brews and Tune
Yeah.
today, and so we wanted to kind of play. It's a play on words with everything having to do with music and beer. So these
You have
are
a giant ass, guitar neck stretching from the bar to back end.
The reason why we did that is because when we used our consultant, Lisa, who did the work for us, and she's great at what she does. She got all this shit together for us, and she said, "I want to listen to what is important to every one of the co-founders." And what's came out of it is that beer and music are totally inseparable.
Absolutely.
For us. And the reason why, and especially for my partner Joe and I, who played in the same band together, we were always practicing. We had a set schedule in our early 20s when we were doing this, mid 20s even, playing in original band. We would practice 4 nights a week.
Wow.
And so we're drinking beer, right?
Yes.
Like 4 night, like we're drinking beer all the time, but we're drinking beer with the guys in the band. And then we were craft beer fans before craft beer was popular.
It's like
So
97, 98.
So what were you drinking by volume when you get together on these practices, rehearsals, and what were you drinking in smaller volume as craft back then? Or as I think back then is probably a little less craft, a little more import, maybe, possibly.
yeah, import, obviously. I mean, would you guys consider import synonymous with craft anymore?
I don't.
That's a good question. No, I don't know that I would either.
I don't.
I think
and I think the tough part is a lot of the times the biggest breweries coming from or being imported are essentially as if we were exporting our biggest beers, which we do, and so the perception of American beer is what we send around the world. And that's American Light Lager. I mean, now to a different degree, you might be able to get a Lagunitas IPA or, maybe a Stone product or something. But a lot of those too, they are American, but they don't necessarily represent the biggest volume of the smallest breweries. I mean, we talked in the main body of the episode, there's over 10,000 small craft breweries. Over 90% of those produce less than 1,000 barrels a year. So I don't know if those beers have an accurate depiction of what American craft beer actually is.
Okay.
But could be
Well,
at a time it used to be.
When
I think-
you were doing this, if you considered them craft, then yes, for the purposes of
Well,
this
yeah. I mean, your truth is
conversation,
your truth.
absolutely.
I don't think the word craft really existed back in 97. And I say 97 because I was 21
Yeah, hell
at the
yeah.
time.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm 46 now. I was 21 years old. We were in a band, and I think my primary beer was
that far off.
was Red Dog. I was drinking like
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I was drinking Red Dog at the same time as you were.
and it massive terrible hangovers.
It's rough. I went to Jungle Gyms.
Thank God I have hangovers because it teaches me not to drink certain shit anymore.
I went to Jungle Gyms on it was a business trip, not personal. And I just went through where they have those giant, like 30 racks of bullshit. And I wanted to see, is Red Dog still there? Because I would have picked it up. Because it wasn't.
I haven't seen it forever.
It wasn't. Because
really bad beer.
I can remember sorry, Mom, I know you, love you. You don't listen to the pod. My sisters do. As an 18-year-old in the New Orleans area, I was grandfathered into legally drinking.
Okay, so you actually could drink at 18.
Drink at 18.
So why are you
I didn't drive, so my mother would take me to the gas station.
How old are you?
44.
You were grandfathered in?
At 18.
In New Orleans? See, my brothers who are 8 and 9 years older than me were grandfathered in Ohio.
I was grandfathered in New Orleans.
Shit, I didn't know that. Wow.
And so I could legally drink at 18.
Holy
my
cow.
mother would take me to the gas station. I was working. I was going to high school. I was senior, and I was senior in 96. But I would be working. I was working as a manager at a restaurant as soon as I would leave high school. And then, so I didn't drive. And my mom would take me to the corner gas station, and I'd grab my 6-pack, 12-pack, whatever it is. And I can remember Red Dog.
Pop the trunk. I'm grabbing a couple 30 racks tonight.
Red Dog had come on the scene like, nope, getting Red Dog. And I can remember.
Why was that cool? I think it was marketing.
I was going to say
behind
marketing.
It had to be. It was almost iconic. I think it was a white box with the Red Dog outline.
Yep. And I think what it was is, it wasn't yellow fizzy beer. It had
taste to it.
A red hue.
Yeah.
Red hue to it. And it had a snap. So maybe there was some rye component to it.
There was something going on with it.
But I can remember.
Which is probably why I liked it.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't good.
No,
it was terrible.
No. Because I had it.
But it was different.
I had it a few years back. A few years, may have been 5 or 6. But I had a few years back, and I was like, man, this is terrible. Or as my friend Charles Barkley said,
this is terrible. That beer. I can't believe that you went and had that terrible beer. That beer was so bad. It was like my golf swing like 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
So back to Red Dog.
Yeah, Red Dog. Go back.
It lasted probably 6 months before we found Sam Adams. Okay, so you quickly, I was actually, so you started drinking when you were 18.
No, sir. I started legally drinking when I was 18.
Drinking.
Which is what I meant.
Okay, thank you.
My legal drinking age was 21. However, between the ages of 18 and 21, I think I did better at not drinking than when I was in high school. I don't know what it was. I think it's because we played in a band and I played out at bars, and I had to respect the fact that I wasn't drinking out at these bars.
That makes sense.
And so we were a young band, like 18, 19, playing out at these bars. So when I hit 21, it was just like, rip off the Band-Aid, let's go. So for whatever reason, Red Dog.
Yeah.
And then that bled into Sam Adams. And
for 6 months before I got sick of the hangovers. And then we would bring, that was part of our band practice, is bringing, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is
bringing beers to share, because we were serious. It wasn't,
nice.
We were actually practicing. So we weren't just getting wasted and then, it was like we had to work on shit. It was a job. It was fun. And it was very fulfilling, but we were working on things during that time, and it wasn't about getting wasted during band practice. It was about sharing good beers. Sierra Nevada, Pale Ale.
Sure.
Newcastle.
Yeah,
that was a big thing. Honey Brown.
Yeah.
Just different beers. Like I'm sure we showed up with the Miller Lights and the Bud Lights and all that
Glowing
stuff.
Brows.
But
some Lone Brows?
Probably. The one I used to love was Christian Moorline. before Christian Moorline was bought by Greg Hartman. And I like Christian Moorline after Greg Hartman too, but we were drinking that as well. The other one was Oldenburg.
Oldenburg. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're.
Have you listened to Bruce Guy's Happy Hour? Just Bruce Guy's Happy Hour. Have you listened to?
I have not.
It's
Oh man,
freaking amazing.
You need to get into
Michael
that.
B. Morgan,
Okay.
Brett Coleman Baker. You absolutely
Need to listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
And Brett
100%.
Coleman Baker and Michael Brings the D. Morgan, they're great at this. They
Is that another podcast?
Yes.
yeah.
And you,
It's Bruce Guy's Happy Hour.
you know my podcast experience.
Yeah.
I'd rather be on this side of the
Yes.
mic than actually
for sure.
on the other
But-
side.
But it's
But the-
it's something. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, they.
I like that though. That's cool.
They interview
the
from the-
kings of craft beer.
the behemoths of the entry into the new craft beer wave, going back to
Nice.
like the 70s, 80s.
Nice.
And then season 2 they've teased is going to dig into the 90s.
Nice.
So when you're talking about like Fritz Maytag, you're talking about Jack McAuliffe. They interviewed
Uli.
and then they interviewed the lady who's doing the curation for the
Smithsonian, yeah.
Smithsonian.
Yep. Author Mari Nogel.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an amazing deep dive into American craft beer from the beginning up through like the 80s, 90s.
I'm probably not even that smart. I'm going to learn something. I will.
It's absolutely amazing.
Because we only
They have
knew
Charlie
Absolutely
Papazian.
Yeah, Charlie Papazian.
Charlie Papazian.
I didn't know who Charlie was until I got into the brewery industry.
Really?
Yeah. So
So-
we weren't. What's interesting about what we knew, we wanted something better,
Sure.
and so that's really what really why all this has to be together. Like no question, it just has to be together. Probably one of our biggest, influences is the fact that we played at the Barrel House Brewing Company. And so you talk about good craft beer that was brewed back in the day. That place had great craft beer. They had good food, and they had a dedicated
Music.
stage
Yes.
to play on.
Yes. And was that something that when developing Fretboard, you said if there can't be music, this cannot happen? Like that was
Yeah.
a hard
Yeah.
stop?
It doesn't mean I need live music every second. It just
Sure,
means
sure.
I need music in here.
Sure. Sure.
And it's not just over the radio. you
Right,
know, or
right.
whatever.
Which I mean, over the air music is,
Or over the air.
fine, but it is nice to have, or it's beyond nice. It's so much more of an experience of beer as a feeling. It's just so much more when you have that live element
Absolutely.
of music surrounding you while you're drinking great beer, eating great food. It just brings everything together.
Well, and we had a long conversation today, which was about live music, and you can see the numbers when it comes to whether I book a good cover band versus an unbelievable original band that has amazing music that no one has ever heard of.
Do you have a favorite artist so far that's played on the Fretboard stage?
Well, I was going to say the two both drive us to say, okay, we want to make money and make sure as a business we have the cover bands that do this, but we got to bring in other bands too.
Yeah, I imagine.
And so it's a tough, and so I'll answer your question in a second.
Yeah.
But it's a tough thing because we are very vested in people. And so we get a lot of people that say, oh, you don't book enough original music. And I was like, well, yeah, we actually do. Or you don't book enough cover music. And it's like, we're trying to toe the line to make everybody happy.
Right.
From a certain standpoint, but also make sure that the tap room is still doing its thing. So,
yeah.
anyways, we're very vested in music, whether it's cover music, people that play other people's songs, or people that write original tunes. And the beer is all part of that.
Well, and the other thing is that it has to be a huge commitment to be able to provide without a cover charge
Yes.
in almost any scenario.
For the most part, that's always a topic
for the most part
of discussion.
Without a cover charge, amazing entertainment. Like
Yeah.
there are party bands that would go play at bars, and then you would have cover charges. Now, those party bands may not be playing at Fretboard, but Fretboard, you can go see amazing entertainment on a weekend. I mean, you don't have a cover charge for the most part.
For the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If
And-
we hire the party band, we have a cover charge.
right,
Sure.
for sure.
Right.
But it's a venue that was made with not just beer but music in mind as well, and not just music but performance.
Yes.
I think is the other thing too. Is
Correct.
that it's
Because
not
music could just be a jukebox or, the radio, whatever. That's not what, and this is putting words in your mouth, and that's not what Fretboard envisioned when they said we need to make sure that music is part of your experience when coming to the brewery.
Right. My hope is actually we find bands that become national acts that make it big.
that would be
So
awesome.
cool.
And so they got their start at our place.
That'd be so cool.
And they got their start at many other places around
Sure,
town.
but
They
you
could
were
look back
part
and
of
say,
that.
yeah, this place was a great place to play.
Yeah.
Right. Like when, as an example, Garth Brooks is on his third farewell tour or whatever and playing everywhere and selling out arenas.
Bar.
And he's like, I used to play back at this place when I was,
Yeah.
before I was,
He played a bunch of dive bars.
before I was able to drink and,
sponsored by Bud Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, the thing and thing.
But it's a cool concept. I mean, he's
Oh, yeah.
right. Yeah. If you think about it, Garth Brooks sells out stadiums.
Yes.
And then he goes and plays dive bars.
Right.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
very cool.
Hell
Yeah. You get your start from somewhere.
It's crazy. I saw a friend of ours happened to just walk through Mason and was going somewhere, and the freaking drummer from Chicago was playing in front of a coffee house.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did.
I was like, "Are you kidding
What is
me?"
going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's awesome.
yeah. It's cool.
We have a scene to where number one, that person is available and has access. Number two, I mean, just they're around.
I want to be a part of that scene too. And I think, growing up in the scene, I guess, being part of that, having an original band, there was, maybe I'm older and I don't know, but I feel like the scene kind of died for a little bit and there was only a few places, but I feel like there's a lot more places with live music nowadays.
I feel like you almost have to. I think that
At least there is now compared to
maybe 5 years ago.
5 to 10 years ago. I don't
Yeah.
know. I could be wrong. Somebody could call me out on that, but I don't know. I mean, I do pay attention. I'm not actively playing in a band right now. I'm not actively playing out, but I've had a lot of people, a lot of musicians come up and thank the brewery and said, hey, I'm so happy you guys are doing what you guys are doing
That's
with
awesome.
music.
Well, you were on stage though a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, at Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
Here at Summit Park, yeah.
Jamming.
I know. I saw
Yeah.
some pictures at Summit Park Place, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
holy shit, that's Jim. That's awesome. He's
But,
out there rocking.
Ralph and the Rhythm Hounds. Yeah. Great
Nice,
people. Those are,
nice.
yeah.
But
Ralph and Noah are great dudes.
I'm glad to hear that though, that you're getting that sort of feedback, because I love that you are providing that opportunity. And it's not just an opportunity for them, it's an opportunity for them
Right.
to do what they love and to do it in front of people. And I know that the people that go to Fretboard appreciate it. That's awesome. You talked a little bit about sharing beers, tasting beers, good beers,
Yep.
that sort of thing. What were the steps and how did the progression happen to where it was like, hey, brewery, crazy idea,
Right.
crazy idea, but I think this is
think
right.
we're onto
I think we
something
should
here,
do
yeah,
it, because
yeah.
you as your professions, yes, you did music as a musician, but you had a full-time job as something else, and
Right.
And I think the person you played music with did as well. I think all of the founders, the founding group of Fretboard,
Right.
Before. Wow, that was weird.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Came
Ooh.
from, there we go.
I love you, Mark.
Ah,
I found a new sound effect.
that's
say.
wonderful. Before the final partner,
Countdown.
main partner came on board, I think all of you were involved in beer and music somehow. Is that right?
Yeah, sort of. So, yes. So I think it's going to go back to about 2015. So we're celebrating our 5th anniversary this month, basically. And if you go back to 2015, we had conversations, God, even prior to that. I mean, I've got recordings, band recordings with people like our main sales guy, Chris Ellison. Like we had played in bands, and he goes, I remember you guys talking like you guys are going to start a brewery one day and this and that, blah blah blah, and I thought you guys were full of shit, and we're like, no, we're not.
Were any of you homebrewers, or was it
And-
purely just the love of the craft?
I had done some home brewing back in early 2000.
But it wasn't something that you're like, I want to make a career out of this.
Not then.
Okay.
Yeah, the career was music. Later on, it came. Then we started talking because we were all, at least the co-founders, Brad, Joe, and I, were all IT guys.
Hey.
And then as far as my partner Joe, we had shared so many jobs together. So like pretty much we have shared, like we have worked at so many places together, like IT career, Skyline, like it didn't matter. La Rosa's, like back to high school. So a lot of high school friends. We knew, Joe and I, at least when we started talking about doing this, we knew we needed a brewer. So we called Brad Plank, and Brad had been a home brewer for many years already. So he had already developed recipes. I mean, the guy was on Facebook like, got this new beer. I mean, the guy was always brewing beer. So he understood recipe development and understood, what was, people wanted, what everybody wanted. So, Drummer Boy, let's, 6-packs of Drummer Boy, let's go.
Hell yeah.
That was one of Brad's creations, right? So he
That's
called
awesome.
it Fezziwigs Fizz or Fizzywigs Fez or something like that. It was probably after some fish song name or something like that.
That's amazing.
And it was like 13%.
Even
Imperial
more
Red Ale
amazing.
with spices. And so
Didn't Boston
I-
Beer made Old Fezziwig?
Old Fizzywigs, yeah.
Old Fezziwigs, yeah, it was a spin-off of that or whatever. So anyways, Brad,
I need some of that
So-
original recipe. Just, throwing that out there.
it was a winter warmer. It would warm you up.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was hot.
So it was hot. Yeah, it was good. So that recipe, still exists today in a little bit different fashion. But we called Brad and we said, hey, we got to get together with you because we know, as LaSalle, we all went to LaSalle together as LaSalle guys. We know each other. We're all buddies. Let's do this. And we just never thought it would be as big as it was.
That's so cool. So
We just thought
exceeded
smaller.
your
Which part?
expectation, Yeah.
The brewery.
What it came to be, or getting it to what it became to be? What was the part that was so big you didn't think it was going to be?
We never thought we'd launch a 20-barrel brewery. I mean, a 20-barrel brewery
Yeah,
is
okay.
600
Yeah.
something gallons.
Lot.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
and so when you that saw, I mean, Ryan guys started with a 20-barrel brewery, and you go, holy cow, like it's a lot of beer. And so
Yeah, it's 40 kegs every time you
Yeah.
brew something.
right, and so you're like, we just thought, something 5-7 barrel or something. Brad would work there, and I wouldn't work there. I would just come and drink, help the business out. But
And now you are stuck wearing so many hats
yes,
at Fretboard.
yeah,
And
right,
you're doing a great job.
yeah. So
You are doing a fantastic
anyway, so it started off pretty big, and then the live music, obviously inseparable. Hired somebody to help us do our brand. We still use one of the original designers today
That's
to do. And so I met with Jay today, so that was cool.
Very cool. So, kind of going back to the question I asked earlier, and then I want to go into a little more about like the beer and the beer names and some of the beer ideas that we talked about a little bit before we started to record.
Hold on, but you had a question about
Who has been your favorite artist so far that's performed on the Fretboard stage? Do you have one?
That's a good question.
It's probably Truth Beer Pod. I mean,
Truth Beer Pod.
I mean, we're not necessarily a band, but
yeah.
man, we had the place
Beer Pod.
rocking. Yeah. Good answer.
But we drove everyone out of there.
We drove
So,
some
but-
people.
The blessing and the curse of
We have a heavy responsibility. We wear the crown, understanding that
the blessing and the curse of owning a brewery is I can't see every act that's there.
Yeah. I guess out of who you have been able to see, or
One of my favorite cover bands that plays there is the Spook Floaters, which is a Grateful Dead cover band that's been around
I've heard of them,
30
but I haven't
years.
seen them. Yeah.
Or the longest like running jam band, but they also cover like Talking Heads and some other song like play, bands like that. So
Nice.
just a great band. Original band. I've seen so many. And I don't know if I have a favorite yet.
okay, that's fair.
I
That's
know.
fair. I would have to say
I'll have to think about that one for a little bit.
I haven't been
No,
able to
it's all
see
right.
as many acts up there as I would have as I would like to. But Spirit of the Bear, when they came
See, I missed that show.
this year,
Yeah.
so good. So, and I think that was when Mitch was still doing a lot of the marketing.
He was.
Or all the marketing. He had posted about them coming to play live. Like, they have one of the best music videos that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, of course, that, that little fish hook, I'm like, okay, let me watch the video. And then I went, oh, I need to come up there and see them live. And I need to see what's going on.
I saw Cincy Brass there, and they were
Fantastic.
fucking awesome.
Cincy Brass is always good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Always.
they were awesome, and it was so loud. We were shoulder to shoulder. It was my wife and I. I mean, we absolutely enjoyed the experience, and we're glad it was so busy. But then we left and went to eat somewhere else because trying to
So
get
busy, yeah.
trying to get to food and then eat food, and how are you going to eat food?
You're not.
Like, how are you
Right,
going to eat
right.
food like standing shoulder to shoulder with
Right.
somebody was impossible.
You're
So,
not.
Yeah, so it wasn't going to happen. So we left and ate somewhere else. But man, I just was so happy to get to experience some of Cincy Brass, and that place was just bumping. It was awesome.
And doing some of the non-music shows, the live podcasts that are starting to come back, the comedy acts, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Fretboard is such a perfect place for those kind of acts to be. So I am very, very glad that you guys aren't kind of keeping yourself boxed into just music on stage.
The stage has a purpose, and the stage needs to be used.
Sure.
When it's not used, that's okay. It can stay dark, but we put some lights on it, whatever.
Sure.
But the stage should be used for something.
But I love that you guys are open to the fact of it doesn't have to be music.
No.
Like, I feel like there are some dive bars, some locations that are it's music or
Right.
it's just the radio over the speakers.
Right.
They don't want to branch out into any type of performance, whether it's spoken word, music, that type of thing.
Right.
And I really appreciate that you guys are open to let's use the stage. Let's make sure that we utilize this
We are.
as much as possible. So,
Yeah, I'd like to utilize
It's
it more.
fantastic, yeah.
It's there. We should use it.
okay.
Have you had anybody do dancing? Hey,
River
it's a weird
dancing
question.
up there.
I just
but
thought
no,
about it. I was
right.
like,
No.
have you had anybody go
Do a
and
dance?
and
Okay.
like
It's been brought up.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
do dancing?
The answer's no. The answer's
Not yet.
The I guess if I ponder the thought, it's been thought of.
It's been thought of.
It's been thought of. Nothing's ever happened yet.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I just out of the blue thought, well, have you had anybody or like a company or a troupe do like their own set or whatever dancing?
I guess the
Clogging and
only
river
I know.
dancing.
I guess the only the problem is sometimes it depends on the size of the troupe. The stage actually is too small.
True.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
we've had some dancing in the place. One time during COVID, it was a dance troupe that they were around the corner from us in Blue Ash. They had a whole thing, and they wanted to do a program. So they had
State Highway Patrol dance troupe.
They were great. With their tights
crap.
and stuff. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Did they
but
keep the hats on?
yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
No, but go ahead.
So good. They're great singers too.
Would never have guessed.
and so
Like
but no,
Vlad with his American standards.
Oh my God.
But we had a dance troupe come in, and they did a couple. They had like 2 scheduled recitals because it wasn't during COVID, but it was after COVID when you had to have so
Yeah,
many
there were
people
still-
apart.
Sure.
And they were like, we can't host anywhere, and we're like, why don't you just come in and do it here? And they did it.
That's cool.
And I actually came up for it, and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
I love it.
And I'm not like the dance dad, or you know what I mean? Like, it was really cool.
Who is your dream act to have perform at Fretboard? It could be
Nickelback.
living or you can't answer for him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Living or dead, it
I saw
doesn't
it in
matter
his eyes.
how big, how small, it doesn't matter. Who would be your dream act?
Oh, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
hands down.
Nice.
Yeah, done.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Love it. Love it, love it. We are speaking it into existence-ish, sort of. It can't really. I mean, in a
Speaking one to
weird, in a
exist.
weird-ish.
I'm going to call David Gilmour tomorrow.
There you go.
And say,
There you go. Hey,
Mr. Gilmour, can you,
You need
come
to make
play,
this happen.
play at our place?
Hello.
it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You never know until you ask.
All right,
You
that's
never
right.
know.
There you
That's right.
There
That's
you
right.
go. All right, so beer.
Okay.
Fretboard beer.
Yes.
We talked about this a little bit before we started recording. Anything you have done, I say you, I mean Fretboard in general.
Marco's
Oh, Marco, okay.
I get Jim noticed I get jittery.
He's
Yeah,
getting
he
jittery. He needs a
when
beer
when
right now.
Do you need to run off and get a beer?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Are you going to get me a beer?
You guys, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Give me a beer. Whatever you want.
All
You
right.
pick.
I'm going to keep asking questions because
'Kay.
we're at 42 minutes and this is awesome. And the more pauses we take,
We've been at 42 minutes already.
yes.
Oh, shit.
It is 8:24.
My
Yes.
wife, yeah.
Yes, you are.
I'm in trouble.
You may never put that wedding ring on again.
No, I'm
All
going to put it
saying.
on. It's
Okay.
fine.
So we talked about beers and some of the beers that Fretboard has
Yep.
had in the past that we would love to see come back. I know Reba comes back on occasion. Women in Rock, the Women in Rock beer series, because you've had Janice, you've had Joni,
Yep.
Reba.
I know.
The Women in Rock beer flight would be so freaking amazing.
Yeah, we've talked about
And
it.
I know that you said
Yeah.
that you've been conversing. What is, and if this is something you don't want to talk about, whatever. What is the probability of seeing a 4 to 5 beer lineup that is all women in music based?
I can't
I know
promise.
that's
Yeah, I can't promise
schedules,
anything.
all that.
I
Right,
think we love the idea.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Reba.
Yep.
We had
is
Joni.
delicious.
We
Yep.
didn't have Joni long. We had Joni.
No.
I know.
I brought my mom up when you guys had Joni. Joni Mitchell is her favorite artist
I know.
of
Joni.
all time.
Well, what a
And
legend.
when I told her,
right?
and she's coming back to the stage for like I think just a one-time
That's great.
show with is it Belinda? Oh my God, I can picture. She's coming back to the stage for at least a one-time
Okay.
performance. But when you guys released Joni, my mom is a huge Joni fan. I said you should come up with us, with me and my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she's not a huge beer drinker. She'll enjoy it, but it's typically not her drink of choice. And I'm like, they're releasing this beer. You should come up and we should just get a flight of whatever they have and make
Right.
sure that's one of them. And it was great.
This-
it was fantastic. But I understand that those are
Well, that beer.
not the big
That
sellers, I guess.
no, it wasn't that. Joni. We actually had a little trouble brewing that one.
Okay.
We
That was
didn't.
a
We didn't.
blueberry wheat.
It was a
or-
blueberry wheat. We didn't revisit it yet. I think the name's still there. I think we'd like to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Great point. I love you bringing that up. Janice actually would have came out this year if raspberry prices weren't
yes
absolutely
Ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there was no way we were actually going to purchase the raspberry puree that we needed and sell a
Enough to
six pack
eat it.
at like a normal price.
Right. It
It-
would
it-
be like a $30 six pack.
Yeah, it would
if you
have been we couldn't even get it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was on the schedule, ready to do.
And
couldn't
then
do it.
looked at prices and went, oh,
Yeah.
got to shift.
Well,
Okay,
and,
okay.
and right now, because it's like the COVID hangover, everything's been, I don't know what it is. I have no, like, it's just so random. You're like, oh, we'll just do Janice, blah, blah, blah. Like let's go do Janice.
Well, now,
And then you
well,
can't
I
get,
think-
and then you can't get the raspberry puree, like the
Right.
real fruit that you need. So
Right.
we're not going to just, put some fake fruit in it, or flavoring.
which we appreciate. Yeah.
So and so that beer is what it is, and it
Right.
needs the real stuff.
So out of, is it the women in music beers that you guys have done? There's Reba, Joni, Janice. Wasn't there another one that I'm blanking on?
I don't know. You got me. I can't think right now.
There
I've had
should-
too much caffeine.
Too much caffeine, too much beer.
Too much.
The beer
I'm getting
is
a nice.
kind of the downer trying.
I'm
to-
getting a nice in between right now.
Oh, good God. But no, I think that would be really cool. And if that is something that
I like it.
could happen, getting like the Pink Boot Society involved in it
Yeah.
somehow would make it even, I don't know, even cooler somehow. Like
It sounds like you need to be on
a
my marketing
six-pack.
team.
I
Yeah.
She's also in IT. by
I'm
the
also
way.
in
I don't
IT,
know if you knew
yes,
that.
yeah.
God,
That's her.
we'll-
That's her profession.
We'll be so good together.
But no, there are so many cool things that you guys
Nerds that
do
like
with-
beer.
No kidding.
Yeah.
They're the best kind of nerds.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've tried to get people at work like, oh yeah, I need to come up to higher gravity and go to this place, and they're just like, yeah, maybe, but I have, my Miller at home, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys suck.
What about
Terrible.
Kate? What if we called beer Kate? Kate Bush.
See, I'm a little torn on that just because I feel
Is that what you sing when you go up Price Hill?
it is. It's gonna be now. Dude, I go up Elberon to go home, so now I'm going to. As I'm going up that incline, I'm driving up that hill. I'm turning around the corner. Jesus
See?
Christ.
Some 4-9 blondes. What's up? When they actually
Oh,
say
what's up?
They
Yeah.
actually never say what's up.
Yeah.
They say what's going on.
What's going on?
This is
I know.
true.
What's going on? God, I got so sick of that song.
Yeah.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, for reals.
But no, a six-pack, a sold six-pack of, the Women in Rock six-pack, the Women in Rock Flight. I understand monetarily trying to brew all these individual beers would be an incredible stretch, especially if you still want to keep your core beers on tap. But
Well, that's
man.
tasty. What'd you give me an IPA?
Yeah, it's Mystic Mama.
Ooh,
I
an
love
IPA
you.
guy?
That's one of my favorites.
Cheers, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cheers.
Truth Beer Pod.
Cheers there.
I'm still drinking my Dunkel because it's good and I'm slow.
Truth Beer Pod.
That's good.
Man.
All right.
Man, but so what other music related or like?
I have some.
artists,
I have.
songs,
I have
whatever.
some ideas around that. But yeah, we actually. It's crazy you brought that up.
I have always loved the
Just talk about it
female
today.
musician inspired beers that you guys have put. I mean, all of your beers are phenomenal,
Oh,
but the women
come on.
inspired
Not
ones,
all of them.
Well, I mean,
That Vlad.
that Vlad one is kind of a
Hello?
little.
Did someone call me?
Yeah. He's gonna kick your ass
It's a
now.
little
He's gonna bite
overhyped.
you.
It's,
I always liked the Michael
No, I-
McDonald guy. Do
Yeah, but I mean,
American
it's-
Standard Michael
I know that
McDonald.
I haven't been able to have every single one of the beers that you guys have put out, but I've never been disappointed by any of them.
Well, thanks.
You know what I mean? Like there is something
awesome.
about
Thank you.
every one that I'm like, this is really good. Sometimes you're more in the mood for one than the other. I wish that
Yeah.
the
The best-
barrel aged Netty Dreads were.
The best compliment I ever got was opening weekend 5 years ago, and she was somebody. There was, I think it was a couple different people. One of them was somebody's on the phone. She's like, "Oh, I'm at this brewery and blah blah." She's like, "They got really good beer here," and I was like,
And you're just
"I was like, hell yeah!"
Hell
I'm like, I just eavesdropped on your ass, and I was like,
That's
"Yeah, that's all."
awesome.
But I would not on purpose. Anyways,
just overheard.
yeah, of
Right,
course, yeah,
right.
whatever.
you
Anyways,
totally listened.
and then somebody else came. It was a, I can't remember, guy or girl came up to me and they were like, why don't you have more IPAs on? And I was like, really confused by the question. I was like, well, we got 3, or I can't remember. We had 2 or 3. I was like, we got 3 3 hoppy
Yeah.
beers on. She's like, well, I'm just surprised because most breweries have more IPAs, and you have actually a wider variety of beers, which I really like.
Nice.
And I
go.
said,
Nice.
because IPAs aren't what everybody drinks.
Sure.
Like, and
It's-
so it's a very
it's what
like
most
simple
people
like
drink.
answer. I was
However,
like,
yeah.
oh, like why are you asking me this?
So is there a style that you guys haven't done yet that you want to do? Regardless of if you can't, whatever. Is there a style that
the
Fretboard
smoked
has?
grisette.
Oh my God. I mean,
No, not at all.
Probably the answer is yes. Probably always.
when are you releasing your Cascadian Dark Ale? That's my next question.
Never.
The second
come
Tuesday,
on.
second Tuesday
Come
next
on.
week.
Never.
Come on.
I would say
Yeah, 6th anniversary.
sours have been brought up many times. I don't think we'll ever do one. For real.
Is that mostly because of the potential? like,
It's a potential
contamination of stuff?
contamination,
Yeah.
and I think the other reason is I just when you have a styles you stick to, just stick to it. There's already other people who do that better, so why try to compete with that?
Well, you can-
If
and
you-
so like a kettle sour is fine. Like we've done Berliner Weiss, done that a couple times. And I
you-
think we
you
need
can
to. I think we need to do that more, but I don't need to do that all the time.
No, and you can even manage one from a clean process standpoint, right? Like you can manage it with pH and with acid,
Right.
And acidulated malt. You don't need to even go as far as a kettle sour process,
Right. We've done it though.
But in the end, I mean, do you really need to?
Sure.
I don't think we do.
No,
Sure,
I don't, I
and
don't
my
think you do.
question wasn't
That's
like,
just not
do you
us.
feel like you need to do some other style? It was more the, in the hypothetical world of if you didn't have to worry about contamination, if basically you could pretend that you had one sterile environment that you could just make any style that you haven't yet, is there something that that you think would be fun to do? And it wouldn't touch anything else.
I think maybe like Scotch ale or something.
Okay.
Like something that we just haven't ever done.
If you ever do,
Love Scotch
I'm in
ales.
for it.
I'm just
Absolutely.
like that's going to be like it's going to seem random, but we just haven't done that.
Sure.
The second beer I ever homebrewed was a Scotch ale, and I love that.
Personally, I'd like to expand our barrel program.
That'd be cool. Because you do Natty Dread right now. Didn't you do a barrel-aged Drummer Boy?
That'll be
years
out.
ago?
Yeah.
You did it again? Okay.
That's actually one of my favorite barrel aged beers we do.
I'm in.
Are probably
They're delicious.
so Natty Dread is probably the best well known, but the Cool Meditation with the peanut butter porter, like
Oh,
or
that's
peanut butter
right.
stout,
That's
right. Yeah, I
is,
forgot about that one.
That's actually probably the most popular stout we do.
Man.
Probably not surprising either
Would
because it's
you-
peanut butter.
Would you ever barrel age Rockin' the Rhine? Because I could see
Depends
that
on how much
working.
is left this year.
Well,
Nothing.
okay,
yeah,
well there you
yeah.
go.
Because it is such a good beer, and I
The problem is you
I
get
don't
in.
understand enough about barrel aging. so,
You need to have a higher gravity beer.
okay.
My favorite barrel aged beer we've done, I mentioned Drummer Boy, and that will be back. That'll be back out. It's funny. My neighbor bought a case.
I may
Actually,
or
he-
may not have been eavesdropping on the Fretboard conversations this week. That's
So-
how I'm bringing up. all
So
the
hold on.
things.
So last year, my neighbor bought 2 cases, and he goes, "Keep a case in your fridge, because him and his wife will just drink it all." And so I've had a case
Oh my God.
from last year in my fridge, and every once in a while I'll be like, "Hey Brad, you want to bust this out?" And so I'm gonna give his case back to him, and I'll be like, "Here you go, buddy." So
Start
one
doing
of-
a vertical for
but
every
but
year.
one of my favorite barrel aged beers, because I think Drummer Boy is such a complicated beer anyways, with all these legit spices: orange peel, ginger root, cinnamon, vanilla,
right.
honey, and then you barrel age it, and you're like, what is this after barrel aging it?
amazing.
And then
That's
it's
what it
amazing,
is.
and then it
yeah.
and then it changes with whatever barrel you put it in. So whether it's Wild Turkey or Heaven Hill or whatever it is, it's awesome. I love that beer.
I can't wait.
The other beer
Wait.
I brought up recently with my partners is we call it Cumberland Gap, and it was a Belgian triple.
Oh, yes.
Triple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should I say?
Tripel.
I don't care
Tripel.
what you call
Whatever,
it.
man.
Whatever, America. Hey,
For it.
I want that Belgian triple.
The treble.
No, triple. Tripel. Whatever.
So good.
That was one of my favorites. And I'm not a big Belgian beer fan.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But barrel age, it was like it knocked the Belgian yeast kind of twanginess
Off a little
off.
bit. Okay.
And made it just a great like barrel age blonde beer. It was so good.
Will you guys ever do a missing link beer?
Missing link.
Yeah. You're looking. Oh, you're looking at me
Ooh.
kind of
Oh,
confused. So,
all right.
so you may or may not have heard of a local
Apparently
brewer
not.
and brewery owner Brett Coleman Baker.
I know, Brett.
Maybe you know Brett.
Yeah.
So he and Michael Bringsody Morgan and a bunch of people went down into one of the Cincinnati lagering tunnels. A couple
Oh,
of
for
years
the
back.
yeast.
And
Yeah.
captured
And they
farts.
found
Yeah.
and they captured the farts.
Yeah,
And they
right.
and they canned the farts and they were able to sell said farts in cans, made a killing. There was
Yeah.
a whole festival for it last
A whole
year.
festival for selling their canned farts.
Yes. And I think it was 7 other breweries got
Canned
the
their
yeast and
farts.
made their own. And there were no restrictions or anything to it. It's basically just brew a beer in whatever style you want using the missing link yeast. So like you had Westside Brewing, Humble Monk did one, Joseph Knox.
I know what you're talking
Doing
about.
all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
You
that
got it
something
now.
that-
It's like, you got it.
Is that something that Fretboard would ever
No.
look into? No.
No.
Okay. Hey, and that's fair. That's fair. It's more
Nope.
Okay, and that's fair. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's not us.
Question of curiosity.
No.
And yes,
I
that's
think
fine.
it's just.
I think it's cool, but I don't think it.
I think
needs
it's cool,
to
but
be
I think
everywhere.
I also think it's dangerous.
Sure,
From a
sure.
yeast perspective, I understand it's propagated from the I think it's Omega is propagating
Yeah.
it,
Yep.
but diastatic yeast. I just think it's dangerous, and it's not as dangerous as some of these other wild strains of yeast, although it is a wild strain of yeast, or one that was
Right.
just newly defined. I don't love the diastatic nature, and personally, I love the idea, but unless I'm brewing it on, like, let's say a Sabco or something that's extremely small, it's not hitting my production equipment. I'd be a little nervous about it, and
that's
everyone can at me or don't at me. I don't want
At
to
Raging
answer.
Hop on Twitter.
I don't want to answer questions about this.
Yeah,
I don't want any of that touching any of my production equipment.
Yeah, I don't, and I think that's the big, probably rub with kind of like the outliers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at here's your normal beers, here's your crazy beers, and I'm like using my hands here, and then
Yeah.
here's your like crazy
The live stream
outliers.
sees you.
Yeah, they do.
They're right there.
I love the audience.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're
So
so
good.
great.
They're great.
so
and their
great.
interaction is wonderful.
Amazing.
So good. But yeah, there's the crazy outliers. I'm not saying that we're against crazy outliers, but that's
No, but
not
if it,
that's not up
doesn't
our
fit in-
alley.
Yeah, and that's fine. And that's it's more again, like I said,
Yeah.
more question of curiosity. It's
Yeah.
something that is part of a small segment of the Cincinnati craft beer community. So just kind of curious if that was something that
Maybe
Urban makes sense because they make so
Absolutely.
many sour beers, the funk. Like
Absolutely.
bring the funk on. Like let's do some crazy shit.
yeah.
And there's other like if we were smaller, but like the beers we do, like it's just I don't think it would fit. Like everybody's like,
So-
what the fuck are you doing?
so. You
Yeah, no, and
Which
and
is
it's
which is sometimes
true,
a good
which-
thing from a marketing standpoint.
Sure,
but
but
I
at the
don't
same
I don't think
time-
any of us believe in that.
well, speaking about small.
I'm not
batch-
saying we don't believe in what other people do,
No,
but
no,
we
no,
just
no,
we
because for-
we look at each other like what
It doesn't fit for
Right.
for who Fretboard is and what you do, and there is
Right.
absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Sure, no, not at all.
No.
We talked about outlier beers, crazy beers. You have
Yep.
a food partner, and
Smoked out.
Music.
and I can harken back. Did you ever watch any of the episodes of the Dogfish Head the one season that they had?
I actually have not. I know what
Okay.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
So
I need to actually because I read his book.
Yeah. Which one?
Oh, whatever.
But whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. I partially read his book. It's anyways. Long story short, get back to what I was asking. They've done beers with clams. They did smoked meats. They've done all kinds of things.
Right.
Have you had the smoked food partner smoke any malt, or have you used any sort of food ingredient that they have been a part of for any small batch or one-off, or even had anything from a production standpoint that you're like, hey, we can utilize this resource for beer?
Not yet. Oh, well, not true. Okay. Not really. I want to say we did some toasted coconut for the Natty Dread.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not a part of the production team.
Did the production team cry when they were toasting?
Yeah, because we hear
'Cause apparently that's a thing.
when you toast coconut, apparently it makes some people weep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember
that's a byproduct. Don't be there on that day.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Just a warning.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Good.
Nice.
That's fine.
Yeah. The toasted coconut, I think we did originally with smoked out.
Hell yeah.
I think
it sounds right. I mean, it makes sense, right? Where
Yeah.
Where else are you gonna toast a coconut?
Right.
Jim's house. I mean,
Right. Right.
The entire
So-
production team comes over and
There you go.
toast some coconut over at Jim's place.
yeah. And
be a
then
good time,
heads
could be a
over to
bad
the Gnarly Gnomes place since
Yes.
it's not that far, and
Nope.
you just get feeling good on a bunch of beers.
All right. What else you want to do? What else?
We are at
Are
an
we too
hour.
long? We too long?
Whoa, hey,
I
can that
mean-
happen? What are you talking about?
We too long?
No.
I mean, it's not about the length. It's about the quality of the content
Yeah.
that you fill it.
All right.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Okay.
What?
What podcast are we doing again?
I started off on cocaine. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's go.
Oh my God.
When I was
Oh,
at
my God.
Fretboard for Zane Lamprey, and he was talking about drugs and all this shit. and
That
I
was
went-
the funniest
And
shit.
I stopped and I just went, "Yay, drugs!"
Yay,
And-
drugs. Woo.
And
Zane
he was
looks
like,
at you.
What were the last drugs you did, sir?" And he looked straight at me. I said,
I was there.
I was like, ibuprofen, and I should have said cocaine and hookers about an hour ago, Zane.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But
instead-
anyway, what he didn't know is that was a reference to our previous podcast.
Yes.
Which was live at Fretboard.
Yes.
Yes, it
and we
was.
talked about yay
Drugs.
drugs.
Yes.
Yay, drugs.
Yay,
drugs.
drugs. And that was Hustle and Brews and talking to the owner of the Roselawn Pharmacy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes,
So,
yes.
anyways, that was lost on Zane. And
it was
Zane
still
acted
an
like he never
incredibly
met me, and
funny-
I bought Zane a beer at Rheingeist.
And
He
fist
don't.
bumped
He
it.
he don't remember.
No, he don't remember that because he goes to 300 places a year doing all this shit.
I'm surprised he remembered me, and I think he just did it out of being nice. He was, oh yeah, hey Jim, how you
where
doing?
are we going to be tonight? Okay, let me look up. Who am I supposed to
Right.
remember?
He was like, oh, well, and I think I said, hey, it's Jim. Hey, I'm Jim. I met you, and he was like, oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, totally remember you. I-
whatever.
I got no clue.
whatever. Zane.
Yeah, whatever,
Good
Zane.
God. It was a fun show.
He's a
Both-
good dude.
Yeah. Seemed like
Actually,
it.
is.
It was a fun show, and I appreciate that he took the time out to, again, for second time in a row,
Right.
to speak with our friend, the Gnarly Gnome.
Yes.
And put out, collaborate with content with him.
That was pretty cool.
And
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Zane could have said no,
Sure.
but he didn't. And,
But no, he's a capitalist, and he's going to say yes.
well, true.
I mean, how much extra merch
True.
did he sell? I'm just.
True.
Yeah.
That's not a Pleblius backpack that you have there.
No, it's not.
And mine's not either.
No.
Although mine is at home. I bought it like 3 days
It's an
before that
awesome
show.
backpack.
Well, I've got the
It is
backpack.
fantastic.
I have the backpack.
All right.
What does
so-
Vlad think about the backpack?
Oh,
The backpack is very nice because I could put a 6-pack of blood on the inside and keeps it nice and cool, and then I can have all of my other, things
but would he
inside.
want the blood cool or like, I would say room temperature, but body?
I don't know,
That's
Vlad.
the
I don't know,
thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
So you crack the blood.
Yeah.
Do you want any
Can-
CO2 in it?
No, you crack the blood can and then you pour it out. You let it come to room temperature, and then it changes.
You probably
from
love a
beginning-
blood orange, don't you?
From
Oh.
beginning to end, it's a different experience from beginning to end.
What about Bloody Marys?
Bloody Marys, blood orange.
Loved her. She was delicious.
Very
Delicious.
nice. Very
Really,
nice.
really, very delicious. Needed in the morning after a long day of, doing Vlad things.
Vlad.
Oh my God.
All right.
This is great. We need
Let's wrap up.
Jim's
We need to
wrapping it
wrap
up.
this
Jim's
shit
wrapping
up.
I'm ready for
us
bed.
up.
I'm going to go and
I
watch
know.
Stranger Things, and then I'm going to think about you
I-
running up that price hill.
Oh, jeez. Well, technically, I'll be going up Delhi Pike to get
Running
food for
up the
Josh
high
and I,
pike.
to pick up food for Josh and I.
Since
to
we're all
eat.
singing, listen to my my release that's going to drop about the American standards. So I love Michael McDonald, so I'm going to do Heard It Through the Grapevine. Heard it through the grapevine. Not much
Oh my
home
God.
Vlad, stick your,
Bye.
just stick your J job, dude.
Heard it through the grapevine.
Jim, thank you
You're welcome. Thank you.
so much for hanging out with
I could
us
do this
tonight.
every week.
You are more than welcome. Anytime you want to
my-
stop in, we will set up a mic.
We don't have to
we're
talk
at.
about anything.
No.
This is a show about nothing.
I mean,
It's like Seinfeld.
no. We will pause the podcast and we will just hang out and bullshit and laugh until I damn near die. And then we'll be like, okay, we kind of got to finish
Yeah,
our
we got to
podcast
wrap this
stuff
up.
and do
Is
this.
anybody
Like,
listening?
hey, by the way,
Yeah.
we got to go.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, we tried to close the place an hour ago, and
Yeah.
you guys need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
Luckily, the sport's battery powered, so we could technically do it outside on the.
Yeah, we
patio
could.
if
I mean,
it's
technically,
technically.
but
too cool.
yeah, I mean,
Yes, too cool.
we all have other places that we could or should be. But anyways, Jim, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
This was
Cheers.
phenomenal. Is there anything you want to plug before we
Yeah.
wrap this up?
Just
this episode?
our anniversary. I mean, we're
Hell yeah.
happy. God, we're very happy to celebrate 5 years.
My God,
right?
that's so
Oh my
awesome.
God.
November.
It's awesome.
5th.
I mean, thank you, brewing community. Thank you, beer supporters.
Hell yeah.
Gosh.
Hell
Yeah.
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 Keep
Thank you.
making that badass beer. We're gonna get
Thank
some
you.
pictures of Drummer Boy and Mellow Ship before we
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
it a
We got to
night.
do that
And
with the microphones.
Yes,
For sure.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Fellowship.
All right.
yeah, and
Love it.
thank you everyone for
Got a fellowship.
coming aboard, listening, and check out the Truth
All
Beer
of our
Pod.
episodes.
All of it. Check it all
At
out.
Truth Beer Pod social
Yeah, check it
media,
out.
truthbeerpod.com, truthbeerpod@gmail.com.
Follow
We love you
Fretboard.
guys.
Bye.
Follow Fretboard. See ya.
Cheers.